As you know, this is Whopping Youth Services. We are a non-profit organization here in Seattle, serving API youth and families for various community services. This is actually a new space that they just opened, originated in Chinatown in the International District. So this is a new place that just opened, and we're gonna have a couple young ladies from the Youth Council making an announcement. So give it up for the Wapi Youth Council members.
Hey, so we're from the Wapi Youth Council, and we're honored to be having you guys here and having the show here and everything. So I'm Mai, this is Jessica, and we're here to promote our show that we're hosting here on the 26th, which is the same day as, your finals. But we hope some of you guys can spread the word and, tell your other friends to come. So our show that we're hosting is Truth Be Told. So.
Yes, our show is called Truth Be Told, and it's on substance abuse, and it's on the 26th, and it starts from 6 to 9, and it's here, so no excuse if you don't know where it is. And tell your friends again. And it's about youth spreading awareness of their experience with substance abuse through poetry, music, and art. So here's some flyers to pass around.
It's an open mic.
Yes, and it is an open mic. So, yeah.
Sorry, it's our first time doing this.
Oh, it's all good.
Give it up for them, yo. Yeah. My name is Ronnie Reynolds, a.k.a. the MC J Rain. I'm just here to promote Catalyst that happens right here in the Wapi building. I help teach it with Mike Flaunt and Star, and it's really dope. You can come learn how to do hip-hop. On Tuesdays, we also have a graffiti class that happens at 4, and it's really dope. It's taught by Maya and, who else? King Chasm. Yep, and it's really dope. You guys should come through on Tuesdays, and on Thursdays we have the hip-hop class that I help teach. I got flyers all over here. I'm gonna just pass a few down so that people can pass them around. You can take one if you want one. And the show goes on.
All right, you guys ready for the second round? Yeah. So unfortunately, since we narrowed it down to 10 people, we're gonna have to say goodbye to some poets. So I'm gonna read off the list of names that we are saying farewell to, and hold your applause to the end because they are amazing poets, and we wish them all of great success in poetry and keep doing them, right? So here's a list: Latria, Theo, Alex Miles, Sam Snyder, Anthony Germani, Kyrie Smith, and Darby B. Please give it up. A big round of applause. It takes a lot of guts to come up on stage and speak from your heart. Poetry is an amazing thing. The point is not the point, right? Exactly. All right, we're gonna get it on to the second round. Same rules still apply. We're gonna narrow down to the top 3. Top 3 will go on to March 26th at Town Hall for the Slam Finals, which is gonna be pretty gnarly. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's pretty amazing, right? So, let's get it started right now. So on deck, we have Raven, right? Coming to stage right now. Give it up for Devin M.
Product of my environment, I'm caught up in this grind, and I'm all about this music. Anything else is side. It's pursue the dream, but though it seems there's no love left.
There have been lonely nights, embracing. Give me some love, give me some love. There have been lonely nights, embracing our torsos like the last bottle, because the last battle wasn't enough. The bottle sings like a siren, voice like soft skin that peels back to reveal a shipwreck. Lonely nights, laughing with our haunted pasts, because the future promises to be as cold as our empty stomachs. When bursting with food, we still hunger. A God-sized hole needs to be filled with the only consistency we've ever known. You've left a crater of me. Praying to the bottle, please don't call me anymore. These nights keep getting colder and I am lonely. Please get out of my fucking head, I am lonely. I was a doctor. I was a delivery man. I was a teacher, a role model, a father, a poet. I was a story. I appreciated the days. Honesty was like religion, taught when I was young, but I learned other methods to get what I wanted. I don't remember when you replaced my family portraits. I don't know when the bottle became weight. I can't distinguish when the weight became chains. But when the fuck did the chains turn into a noose? Gateway billboards are the only thing that catch my attention, and my days turned into a string of sad stories. The ghost of addiction's past came to me in a photograph. A frozen moment, bottles toasted to these days lasting forever, and a cigarette to kill myself slowly, already lonely. Reminded me of how illusions of self-control and moderation felt like seatbelts before consequences were broken necks and before shattered glass glistened from flesh like constellations. Our faces smiled as we danced on train tracks. We painted the town with aerosol cans and nobody knew what the other was thinking as we stared blankly into the fire. Watched the smoke rise like we did, always trying to touch the sky. I saw the ghost of addictions present because I had a mirror. The ghost of who I used to be, pupils like hollow caves. Sick and tired of being sick and tired, speaking in cigarette butts, tone of voice like a lonely bar stool. You have forgotten so much. Look in the mirror. No, look in the fucking mirror. You used to chase the days and taste raindrops. Now temporary escape is the only thing that makes the pain stop. Eyes like a child, the world was your amusement park. Now you chase the thrills of seeing the bottom of a bottle. Like your savior was in the next swallow, like these faded nights were your North Star to follow, the definition of insanity. I don't know anything about a ghost of addiction's future, because from what I've seen, there's no future in a game of self-destruction. When waging war with the image in the mirror, there's not a lot of paths one can venture down. You just have to know if you're chasing the days or if the days are chasing you.
Yeah, give it up one more time, y'all, for Devin. All right, Henry Dickmeyer, you are on deck. Just let you know. Judges.
All right, we have a low score of a 9. Then we have a 9.6, a 9.6, a 9.6, and a 9.7.
All right, give it up. Yeah. Henry, you are on deck. Just let you know. Coming to the stage next. Give it up for Raven.
Perfect sentences and left them on the tip of my tongue so that you would find them while you were looking at my flaws. I beckoned my skeletons to come crawling out of the closet, and then I buried them in a cold, condensed coffin so that they would be somewhere a little more hidden. I dehumanized my demons and began killing them softly with nothing but lies, and when it was all said and done, I threw them in a hole as deep as my mother's womb and left my apology on the gravesite. I saw you coming, and I hoped that I would be perfect by the time you approached me. It seems that you're always looking at me just the way I want you to, and I would ask you not to look at me that way, but I'm afraid you might just forget and not look at me at all. I try to speak my heart, but I just end up swallowing it whole, stumbling over words and thoughts of things that I probably shouldn't say, but I want to say these things because your smile tells me that you might like to hear them, so I try to spit it out. But the words, they just burn inside me. They burn harder than the fire that I started in the pits of my stomach when I realized that I was falling in love with you. They twist and they turn, they distort themselves and they suffer. They suffer more than the skeletons that I put into that coffin. They scream louder than those demons that I put into that hole. And then after a while, they start to scare me because I realize that those coffins that I buried those skeletons in were really just my rib cages, and my demons will never go away because I have allowed them to become a part of me, flowing through every one of my veins like blood cells. So, keeping that in mind, I lie when you smile and ask me if I'm okay. I lean in for a hug because at least then I know what I'm getting in return. And right before we part, I muster up the guts to squeeze out the words, I love you. And of course, every time you say it back because we're friends, but when I say it, we are not friends. I feel like we are unbending but unbroken, much like bending but unbroken, much like our cracking bones that make noise as they stretch to fit the many motions of our restless souls. I feel like we are unbroken at the hip. I feel like we are joined in the mind. I feel like we are together. But I just don't have the means to mend my broken vocal cords, or otherwise I would tell you how much you mean to me over and over again until it's etched in your memory and burns in your soul like lighter fluid. But unfortunately, my words are caught, and I just don't have the energy to stress this to you anymore. So I'll just keep peeling back my layers like bed sheets until I am finally left uncovered, and you finally start to notice me.
Give it up one more time for Raven, y'all. Yeah. Give it up one time for DJ for sure, holding it down all night tonight. Yeah. Judges?
All right, we have a low score of a 9.5. Then we have a 9.6, a 9.6, a 9.8, and a 9.8 for Raven.
Yeah.
Give it up for the poet.
All right. So coming up, so on deck, you are on deck, Dante, you are on deck. Give it up for the next poet coming to the stage. Give a big round of applause for Henry Dickmeyer, you are coming up. Give it up.
This is a photograph of your heart. It is 5 fingers and a palm, each digit precisely sized to caress your body's ventricles until your palm becomes a blazing sun. Your heart sets the sky and capsizes the day as the wrinkles in the palm of your sun begin to fade and the color purple bleeds through me. See, I didn't know what a heart felt like until I met you. And while your core coerced me into sunny days, your eyes became angelic flash floods of a gaze raised from the days of a heaven from which we once grazed. And in those days, you spit moonlight with your stare. Our eyes were the aesthetically optical pools of language transcending the soliloquies of each other's irises into the silent symphonies of ecstasy. We defined each other's eyes. And I held your piano key fingers like a musician. Your hands turned to your favorite color, and your favorite color is purple. This is a photograph of your heart. It has 5 fingers and a palm. You painted the ripples of August and May onto the Earth's axes so as to grow landscapes into astrology's artistry. You rearranged Orion's belt into a noose to hang our constellation with. And I would see your eyes sparkle with every moonlit hologram, trapping me between every arrow shot from Eros until we drowned. And as we swam, we drank the Milky Way. And as we sat drunk, we stared and we stared, waiting to swim in that sunrise, comprising our love with divinity like the world was between our toes, and we waited. But that rotated crescent star in the sky never rose, and we sat frozen beneath the roses of breath that moved us. And it's hard to look at you now without that stapled scars secreting shattered stars until staring seems cold. But do not freeze. Do not drown. Do not shiver, do not shake, do not quake, do not quiver. For you are Da Vinci's unpainted picture. You are the Picasso that never was. Hold on to those drum kit 1969 star-spangling heart palpitations like they were cut from the sun we sung of when we sprung love. And if you ever doubt that the sun will rise again, if you ever question whether you will hold the sky in your arms, just remember that God touches your lips when you speak and he only talks to angels. You are an angel. You are the violet-filled waves spinning bulletproof angel, sweet like cherries and fresh as spring and as beautiful as you sing, with the skin of golden unplayed sheet music and hands like solar blossoms. You were the violet ocean I never looked at until I saw that your eyes danced with your heart and would swim with God to find your angel wings just so you could reach up and light up the sun again. This is the photograph of your hearts. It has 5 fingers and a palm. Your face is your heart is your hand, and your hand is the sun. You are everything that I am not, and nothing that I am, yet something beautiful. Thank you.
Give it up one more time, y'all, for Henry. You got me all fuzzy inside. Waiting on the judges.
All right, we have a low score of a 9.5. And we have a 9.6, a 9.7, a 9.9, and we have a 10. Give it up for the poet.
Give it up, give it up. Y'all feeling good? Say, all right. All right, Callie, you are on deck. Come to the stage next. Give it up for the poet, Dante.
This is for the 14-year-old boy who just came out and wishes to no longer be alone. For the 15-year-old lesbians who are led on by so-called bisexual girls who are just looking for attention. For the 16-year-old bisexuals who love both sides of the fence just so they will have an even chance of getting love in this cold, cruel world. Wow. For the 17-year-old trans student and the 18-year-old genderqueer student who want to be identified as who they see themselves as, and not the gender binaries that other people want to make them out to be. For the straight students whose sexuality is questioned because they stood up for their gay friends, and for everyone in between who were told they were too young to be loved by someone they really liked and got hit on by some old perverts because they were old enough. This is for you. I know dark times cover you more than your skin does. I've been covered too. But I come here to tell you that it won't always be this way. Life isn't about enduring the ignorance from schoolmates, counting down the minutes till the bell rings, and then you run home, keeping your mind clear until your face collides with that pillow and you dream. You dream because you're safe there, because you're never alone there. You're always with that dreamland desperado, that midnight magical magician, that part-time lover. And in those dreams, there are no too young to love because age only tells you when you're old enough to die for your country, when you can drink, and then when you can retire. And there is no I'm not like that. You get what you want, and everyone is gay, and yes, damn it, it does mean happy. There is no bag, no dyke, no ill, no gross, just love. That PG-13 love story that you always want is something as simple as boy meets girl, but when it's girl meets girl, it's too complicated. When it's boy meets boy, it's too complicated, and when it's Z meets her, it's too complicated. And you lay in that bed and you pray to God and ask, why couldn't things just be easy? Crying to the moon until you fall asleep because her glow is the only thing that holds you through the night. But you turn the heat on because her cold glow may keep you company, but it doesn't keep sends chills to straighten our spine so we can walk through the daylight. The moon understands us. So you can let the tears flow and find comfort in that heavenly glow. But remember to dry your eyes when those chills hit that spine, because we will stand up and be happy. We will stand up and be loved. We will stand up and love, because patience is the key. And we will no longer let dark times clothe us, because we slow down for patience in the moonlight.
Yeah! Give it up for Dante, y'all. It's an amazing night, isn't it?
Our judges like this song.
Yeah.
We have a low score of a 9.5, 9.8, and then we're going up to a 9.9, a 9.9, and we have a 10.
Yeah.
Give it up for the poet.
Give it up, give it up. All right, we're almost halfway through here. So, on deck we have Julia coming to the stage. Give it up for the poet, Callie.
This is for Aaron and Quincy. Suits and ties. Normally the universal sign for men, but they were only 18. They stood in the back, arms crossed in front of their chests, feet shoulder width apart. They stood strong and tall like men. They were a band of brothers, soldiers dressed in suits of armor, lined amongst church pews. They were told never to break, because soldiers must stay strong, men must stay strong, deflecting grenade-like hymns and bullet-like prayers. Their Iron Man demeanor didn't fool me. I could hear their heartstrings break beneath their chest plates at the sound of his name. I know their ties were just nooses in disguise. I saw them carefully calculating the distance between the ceiling beams and them. They just couldn't wait to get out of there. You see, this is not the first funeral they've been to. It's the second one this year, and probably not the last. I watched them take a united breath as if to suck life from a blunt and restore it in their fallen friend with a slow yet steady exhale. I couldn't help but wonder who would be next, and if this dress would still fit me when it happened. I was covered in it, wading in a sea of black, but all I saw was gray. His armor rusted with sailing sorrows, his tie tattered from too many attempts. He looked like he was drowning. I fought the currents to reach him, wrapped my arms around his torso. I could feel his armor begin to crumble. Each bone felt broken. He was just a boy holding on for dear life, because he's seen it slip away with the flex of a finger on a trigger. Boys were never meant to be suited for this. I wish I could help them cut their ties and bonds and hang up their armor. They're not soldiers by choice. They never signed up for this. Diplomas and report cards still in hand. Their textbooks couldn't teach them that no one is invincible. Instead, they learned from Central District sidewalk memorials and rest in peace tattoos that stray bullets don't have names on them, but the kids behind the headlines do. And there is nothing poetic about a teenage boy lying lifeless in the middle of the street. A mother should never have to bury her 15-year-old son. And boys should never be dressed for grief. When will the last funeral be? Thank you.
Give it up one more time for the poet, y'all. It's amazing. Judges, what's good?
We got some digits. We have a 9.8. We have a 9.8. We have a 9.8. But then we have a 10 and a 10. Give it up for Callie.
Yeah. Coming down the home stretch now. So Alex Morrison, you are on deck. Everybody give it up for the next poet. Make some noise for Julia.
My body was your battlefield. The dreams from your father fought with your invasion of my soul, cold and scorching. Rape and pillage me, steal my dignity, and call it food. Eat and drink me, you swallowed my pride so I wouldn't have to. You made my decisions for me so I wouldn't have to. How could I fight your imperialism when you said you could be my everything? Give me everything I need, but like downtown Baghdad, you left me more broken than when you first entered me. Your fantasy, me on my knees while you answered your Call of Duty via Xbox. Boxed up, bought and sold out, not sold, sold, like trains. I'm jumping the track to freedom, and the tracks on your daddy's arm are your only reason. Your facial features mix too well with this alcohol, and I guess this PTSD is affecting us all. I remember the cold gun barrel as you slid it inside me because happiness is a warm gun and your battlefield was my body. And all I am saying is give peace a chance. You knock down the walls I have built and dance on the ruins screaming, burn, motherfucker, burn, well, motherfucker, there's no taking turns on me. There's no X, Y, B, or restart buttons on me. You might have played me like a game, but I am not one. I cannot be bought and I haven't sold out yet. My body was your battlefield, but you will never have me again. With obscenities as my WMDs, and you might have gotten this poem, but you can never take away poetry. You can't take away music, laughter, or wishful thinking from me. You might have occupied my body, but you will leave with nothing. I asked you to love me, but now my vision of love is blurred with images of covering bruises with makeup and your voice saying, I'm sorry, baby, but if you tell anyone, you're just looking for attention. Well, baby, these words are my redemption. Spit from my sharpened tongue, the gun is pointed in your direction. My words will break what your hands never could.
Give it up at one time for Julia, y'all. That was amazing. Right.
Relax your mind, let
So Stina, you are on deck.
to the sounds of a PMZ, but you should keep quiet while the MC rap.
Judges.
Then go take
Working on it.
The show I take because right now I'm about to shake.
All right, we have a low score of a 9.8, and then we have another 9.8, and then we have a 9.9, a 9.9, and a 9.9. A lot of nines. Give it up for the poet.
Give it up. Make some noise. Make some noise. All right. Stina B, you are on deck. Give it up for the poet coming to the stage right now, Alex Morrison.
The midnight glow of skyscrapers is what lets me know my insomnia is alive and well. She's dancing the tango with the Sandman, leaving me alone in my cold and empty bedroom, like the odd one out at a middle school slow dance. Sleep is a luxury I sometimes forget to stock up on. My glossy eyes reflect the plasma light of a Facebook profile up in front of a blank Word document. They reflect an embarrassing text message. Written by my two rebel thumbs devoid of nerves, my body is a tribute to my laziness. My body is a puppet of emotion, my body is useless. Useless in a world that outgrew me and tossed me away. The children of tomorrow are doing the homework of yesterday. They stay up to push the new day away because they're busy people working on their futures, but I'm just laying on my bed looking at skyscrapers, listening to late night traffic because a homeless man yelled that listening is the intro to feeling, and, well, I feel alone. And we've been told what guys like me do when we feel alone. But this is not your average horny as Zeus sex with porn stars masturbating. This is a monster conceived between the legs of boredom, raised on the ghetto corner of imagination and puberty. Not a sport, but a chore, no longer a thing to do before I fall asleep. This is how I fall asleep. And when I'm done, I tell myself I'm lonely, out loud. So I know I'm saying it out loud, so I have to accept it out loud because my ears can't turn themselves off and sing la 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 la, I can't hear you like the little boy I am. My demons live in my dick like a parasite that's destroying me. I want to stop, I want to sleep, but the mind of a testosterone war zone has other plans. My hormones tell me whores moan to the sound of big bones. The Alex you've known is dead. Don't believe me, I once fucked a girl through 2 phones and hung up on her. Abandoned her. Who am I when the sun's not here to illuminate me? Nighttime is when the sun stops judging me, stops shouting my imperfections to the world. I'm sexiest in the pitch black hours of dark. When it's too dark to see the present, my past oozes before my eyes. I am blind to the opportunities for love that dot my life, not like the stars in the sky, but, well, like these skyscraper lights. When I wait too long, someone always comes along to turn them off until my sky is just black.
All right. Give it up one more time for Alex, yo. All right, waiting on the judges.
Bird is a word. All right, we have a low score of a 9.4. Then we have another 9.4, a 9.5, a 9.5, and a 9.9. Give it up for the poet.
Give it up. All right, on deck, Ramsey. Ramsey, you are on deck. Coming to stage right now. Give it up for Stina B.
So this is called 10 Years of Abuse Will Only Do As Much As You Let It.
When I was just a little sprout, I followed the clouds with my eyes for a hunger for all things unusual. My beautiful mind was neglected by my mama for pursuit of her own happiness, for pursuit of her own childhood. Naive that it was wrong to have to decide whether or not I should tell her what my stepfather was doing to my body and my sanity in order to save my dignity, in order to not make mama feel guilty, in order to not make myself feel bad. Back then when the idea of childhood was still feasible and Hey Arnold was hip, I was treated like a pile of shit no one wanted to take responsibility for. No one wanted to clean up. Whoa. I was always made to feel like my biological daddy's chore, and Mom even said she wished I had never been born. At times, being treated like a pile of shit could have been an understatement because shit gets water when shit needs it. I sometimes was not even allowed to leave my room to take a shit, let alone to get a glass of water. Can any of you guys relate to any of this? I'm going to spit for all people spat on, for all people shit on, for all people other people's internal fires is lit on, for all that are lost, for all that have discovered that their fate is an illusion, for all people that got turned out, and for all people that turned out just fine. Yeah. This is for you. It's time to fill this space. For all who feel themselves in nostalgia intertwined with these lines as if these words died down to silence memories in the nooks and crannies of time, or incarcerated recollections between the cracks of your beautifully fucked up minds, this is for you, baby. It's time to fill this space. We've all got so much too damn long to feel sorry for yourself for the rest of it. So make the fucking best of it. Don't lose me now. Remember when you had that drive in your eyes when you felt you'd someday feel able? Don't lose that drive, that sparkle in your eye, and don't forget it's human and healthy and okay to cry. For the forgotten ones in psych wards and bubble rooms doomed to death by isolation in these oppressive tombs, Jesus Christ, this is for you. Just because they call you crazy doesn't mean you are. Guaranteed crazy people converse with a star. Fill your space with positivity and it'll get you through all you faggots, you bitches, you fuck-ups and slews. Make some noise, this is for you. Embrace the face value of whatever holds you down. Recognize the difference between alone time and lonely time. Recognize that your state of mind will always be your home, so you might as well make yourself comfy, damn it. Shit! Exhale and think it through. You're stronger than you think you knew. This is for the women who got fucked in vain and gave their hearts to get finger fucked to. This is for the baby daddy and the baby mama who thought trauma was a good look until her baby got took. Look, this is for the men that think Iron Man is an ideal alter ego, reality check. God hardwired you to have to sleep like a human being to remind you that you are not invincible, and by no means does acting like it mean you are a man. Reject media. I think guys look good in pink anyway. Yeah! And fuck what rap says, because it's real to feel. Hitler's state of mind was a weapon of mass destruction. MLK's state of mind was a weapon of mass revolution. You choose. Fill your space with positive people. Acuity is key. Utilize initiative amidst opportunity. People are meant for unity, not just you, not just me. So fill that space and the gaps of your beautifully fucked up minds, and you may just find that positivity will transcend your perception of reality. Yeah. That is what abuse has done.
Give it up one more time, y'all, for Stina. So on deck is Annalise. Yeah. Judges.
All right, we have a low score of a 9.3, but then we have a 9.6, a 9.7, a 9.9, and a 9.9. Give it up for the poet.
Give it up. So now we are down to our last two poets of the evening. So Annalise, you are on deck. Coming to the stage next, give it up for the poet, Ramsey.
I've eaten way too many meals of top ramen. But not because it's trendy, because it's the only food a family of 5 can survive on for $6 a day. But this shouldn't make you feel bad. This was easy. Easy like sleeping in a basement full of strangers under the roof of someone else's God because they found salvation in their helping hands. This was survival, and it's what I do best. My past was not a tragedy. My past was beautiful. Beautiful like broken down station wagons in Nebraska. Beautiful like small towns in Minnesota. Beautiful like finding the darkness in Las Vegas. Beautiful like a rent collector. Beautiful like a pawn shop. Beautiful like a Saturday morning line at the food bank. My life has always been easy. I know this because after 18 years, I'm still here, and the hardest thing that I've ever had to do is think about the people who have never gotten a chance to say that. So please, do not go lighting our candles yet, because we are still making our way back from the dead, and I'm still walking like my past, forever beautiful, the past that paved in front of me the roads that gave to my future. And I know, for some it's hard to understand. Like those who were born into luxury and now struggle to feel human. Or those who cannot handle the ways of the yesterdays, and so they spend their entire life looking for fresh starts and would do anything to be born again. Like, I will never understand why certain people have to give a man begging for spare change so much shit because he's not gonna go buy a suit with it. If he is gonna go buy a can of 211 Steel Reserve, let him. Because if anything can make him feel warm tonight, then let it be a miracle. You don't know the world's these wonders, so spare a dollar or keep walking. A past can be a tricky thing to conquer. So just let it be beautiful. I know beautiful because I'm over 300 cities' saddest street corners. I'm in search of faith for our future. I was born into survival, hungry like luxury. I'm your first food stamp supper. I'm a church lost without a prayer. I'm a candle lit for every future never granted. Still, I am not a tragedy. I am one big, broken down station wagon in Nebraska. Born of small town Minnesota. He who lived through 2 years in darkness in a city that has more lights than the city of lights. Trained in the subtle distinction between a pizza boy leaving a flyer and a landlord pinning an eviction notice to the front door. I learned the value of money when we traded everything we've ever owned in exchange for one more night at dinner. And learned patience while waiting in line with empty people, hungry and praying that this time will be the last. But my past is beautiful.
Give it up one more time, y'all, for Ramsey, y'all. We are winding down. Judges.
I want to let this song go.
Yeah, you know, right?
But we do have a 9.8. Right. And we have a 9.8.
Right.
And we have a 9.8.
Oh, shit.
And then we have a bunch of 9s. We have a 9.9 and a 9.9.
Yeah, give it up.
Give it up for the poet.
All right. So we have our last poet of the evening. Give it up for Annalise.
Just be thankful.
Man, y'all are making me cry. Brother, I see shadows of your face throughout my sexual activities. Your child face hidden in the back of my deleted memories that my body forced me to forget. Teaching me young what rape meant. Forcing Ken on Barbie, imagining her crawling away with tear-draped cheeks while Ken found a path inside of her, restraining her plastic body with my tiny hands. Feeling tingling coming from south of my body. Being afraid but pleasured at the same time. Barbie, I cut your hair off to make you more human. Rubbing your nippleless breasts and looking between that smooth, curved, blank place between your legs. Because you taught me what my body was supposed to be. Molesting parts of you that never existed, that exist on me. Sending subconscious repression of my own body as I ravaged what little reflection of a real body you possessed. Sometimes I get subtle flashes of memories I know are somewhere, but I don't remember. Seeing my brother's face on top of me like a shadow of a corner of a glimpse. Feeling liquids explode from my vagina every time I saw you, remembering my body's emotions, replaying the fear while my clitoris was stimulated to sexual peaks before I could remember my birthday. And I could never blame you for passing down what was taught to you in our generation's crash course into this insane, sick world. She told me that you knew it was wrong because you wouldn't say anything to Mom when she asked you why I was becoming more sexual. But you didn't stop. None of you ever stopped at that age. Passing this sickness through our siblings like tradition. Our oldest cousin, taught in New York by his father the right games to play, remixed with oral tendencies, replayed and repeated to my sister, oldest of us three. She passed it down like a bucket of blood for us all to sip from. Replayed and repeated to my brother, the middle child who at 5 thought it was only natural to replay and repeat to me. the youngest, by 3 and 8 years. I was the last to bear the blows to my just developing body, last to receive that secret none of us understood, that secret my body knows so well, but my memory won't let sit. So I don't know when you stopped, don't know how many years we played those games together. Elementary school remains blank, can really only remember certain days. I projected in the only way my mind knew how, making me quiet and shy while growing up secluded, was force-fed silence while I was still learning how to speak. So I released my subconscious rage and disgust onto Barbie, the only tool I really had, the only thing I had I could physically replay and repeat to. I hated her and loved her so deep at the same time, trying to share my secrets with her with something, so I raped her too. Showing love the only way I knew how, my eyes would rip through her plastic shield to the flesh of her, where I rebirthed what had been burdened upon me. I hold those memories deep within the crevices of the pathways of my capillaries that connect to my clitoris. And every time I explode, I feel that fear. That underlying fear that I didn't know was there, but I can still feel. When it's very present, my mind goes somewhere else, when my body soaks in the satisfaction of ejaculation. And I'm just starting to feel this, just starting to face these faint images. So I'm sorry that I don't know how to end this poem, but this is the only way I know and the first step of healing.
Keep it going for Annalise.
And no one could seem to solve it, but you found the answer. You told me to take this chance.
Here at Youth Speaks, it's really important for us to be cultivating a safe space for all young people to feel like they have, the power and the dignity and the respect in the community to speak their truth and speak their mind. And I think that was probably was a really, really powerful example of that. So I just want to honor that and honor all of the poets, because that was the last poem of the night. So give it up. It's like, how are you going to put a score to that? Are you serious? Like, what is this that we're doing right now? What, do we have them?
Yeah.
Whatever, like.
I'll just read them off. We have a 9.6, we have a 9.9, we have a 9.9, we have a 10, and we have a 10.
Give it up for the poet one time.
Give it up for the poet, please.
All right. So if we haven't, exemplified or actually, explicitly said this enough, slam is such a farce. The idea that we're all coming together and having young people, speak their truth and speak their poetry and share their art with us, to put a numerical score on that or to, cut people in favor of other people is just really problematic and whack or whatever. But we're here, hey. Anyway, tonight has been such an incredibly powerful night of poetry, so I just want to respect and give love to every single poet that's blessed the stage tonight, and all the people that came through and sat on the floor, and really, this is hardcore poetry right now. This is about as raw as it gets. We're in the dungeon. The lights are flashing different colors. And, it's crazy. So I just wanted to make a quick plug really quickly. Again, as I said at the beginning, ArtsCore is who's sponsoring this event, or sponsoring this whole series, to even allow us to have these events and allow us to come through and share in this community. It doesn't come for free, unfortunately. In order to get the poets up into town hall to have the finals, and then to send the top 5 poets from the finals onto nationals, where we rep every year. Seattle holds it down at National Poetry Slams, by the way, at Brave New Voices. It costs dough, unfortunately, and we're just really asking for your support now. If you can dig into your pockets, if there's anything that you can give us, I'm going to send around this adorable little jar with our Youth Speaks logo on it.
It would be really great if you could give whatever you can or whatever you have in your heart, and if you could just tell other people that you know that might have, you know, more expendable income than you, or just let people know. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things in this world to support. I mean, obviously, like the fact, like what's happened in the last even just couple of days in the world is just, you know, it's really overwhelming. I think we can all testify tonight that spaces like this are so integrally important for the continued, like truly the continued survival of our community and our young people here tonight. So if you just give it up one more time for the poets. That said, I'm extremely excited to reintroduce your host for the evening to do a couple of a cappella pieces for you this evening. Very excited. He is a C-Town born and bred MC to the fullest, representing the South End, representing Whoppy, representing truth and love and stuff like that. I think I'm also going to join him for a piece in a minute. But if you could just give all the love and attention to your host tonight, Nam.
So Hollis failed to mention that the acapella piece is part of a song that me and her did, as well as another friend who is not here. But if not, enjoy it. Hollis is amazing.
You want to do it? Yeah! We're gonna do it. I'm spinning first, right?
I carry faith. The bridge is the distance between us. All these dreams you hold in pieces, I will make them whole, and I will bring us home.
For 25 years, I was raised to face your demons that were lurking in your closet. Now I'm glad I got to see you. Who would have thought I would have made it this far? I could feel the skepticism when I said I was a star. I know I didn't turn out how you wanted me to be, but once I learned to write the rhythm, I just wanted you to see. I kept the pen flowing on a mission to be free, and I can make it through the struggle with no bachelor's degree. I wonder where it comes from or how it came to be, and I don't know either. I just know I wanted to be me. Now I understand you just wanted what was fresh, being stubborn as I am, I just wanted what was best. These rhymes and these beats, yo, they kept me off the street, and most importantly, these rhymes and beats kept me on my feet. From the first to the last, till my steady pen is done. No, I tried to make my best. No, I tried to my best to make you proud of your rising sun.
I carry faith. That bridges the distance between us. All those dreams you hold in pieces, I will make them whole. I will bring us home. See, Mama, maybe I failed you from my first chromosome. I'm not the American son you dreamt of when you left home. 18 and all alone, fractured like the stanzas of a poem. Fast forward 40 years and now your firstborn is grown. I know I wandered far from the road you slaved to lay down. I'm all loose-lipped and radical now, with the dirty mouth, losing faith, a stain. But look, I finally found my voice. I wish that you were in my place, and then you'd see that everything I spit is to extend your legacy. You gave me everything sacrificed so I could freely speak. I'm so American, Mama. All the stars are in my corner, and my strength is in my bars, and I'm steadily taking over for the both of us. And you, I trust, we never made the upper crust, but it's my destiny to spit your story before I fade to dust. So never doubt my drive. I'm on a mission. Your heart's in every verse that I've written.
Hi. All right, so can we get all the poets on stage right now that perform? We are going to narrow it down to the final three that will make it to Town Hall on the 26th. As these poets are coming up stage, give them another warm round of applause for everybody coming up here. Having the heart and the soul and the guts to come up and speak for all you beautiful people.
Okay.
All right, so the reason why I'm announcing this is because we've had something unprecedented happen. In that we've had like an absolute tie for third place. And so, with the powers that be invested in me and Chris Weigel, we decided that both of them are going to go on to the finals. And we'll figure it out when we get there. So we're going to have 4 poets go on. Whatever, it's wild card. It's the last chance, right? So once again, can we just give it up one more time for all the poets that are here on the stage? Okay. Slam is whack. There was a lot of time penalties that we didn't announce. I just wanted to let that all know. But I'm just going to announce the names of the poets that are going to be going on to the final round. So start clapping now. All right. So for the tie for third place, both going on to the slam, we have Henry Dickmeyer and Dante. Hey. And also moving on to the final slam, we have Devin and Raven. So give it up for all of the poets here tonight. And all of you guys, I want to see you guys all outside also. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Give it up for our DJ Fosho. Give it up for our host, Nam. Give it up for the judges. Give it up for yourselves. 1 time. You speak.